Welcome back to Double Down University, and today I'll be going over the World Cup quarterfinals with the first two matchups getting underway today, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So I'll rattle off you guys my six picks for today. So I have Mateo Kovacic over 2.5 tackles, Casemiro over 2.5 tackles, Allison under a goal allowed, so he doesn't allow a goal. Lionel Messi over 3.5 shots, Cody Gakpo over 1 shot, and Julian Alvarez over 2 shots. So let's start off with Mr. Mateo Kovacic. So Mateo Kovacic, he averages about 2.8 tackles per game, as you can see here, 2.8. So he's right close to his number that we need him to hit. But I think he's going to be essential in this matchup against Brazil. And reason being, and I'll kind of scroll up and I'll kind of show you guys the projected lineup. So with Brazil, like I said, they kind of have a double pivot of Casemiro and Paqueta, but last matchup, what they kind of changed up and did was Paqueta had more license to go forward, so he was more of a so they were more playing a front five than a front four. So they had Casemiro drop back into the midfield and receive the ball from Marquinhos and Silva, and it also led to since they had a front five instead of a front four, it allowed Neymar to drop into the midfield and kind of receive the ball and be an outlet to Casemiro to get the ball and link it up to the front four or the front five, as I said with Paqueta. So in that role, Neymar was able to carry the ball in space and be able to link up play with, like I said, Richarlison and Vinicius and Rafinha on the other side. And if we kind of look at the the heat map of the World Cup so far, and it's basically all this shows you is like his activity on where he's normally set up and the places that he's normally the most. And as you see, the redder the area or the darker the area is the more he's in that certain position throughout the game. So as you can see, he's down this right hand side a whole lot, and in this area is where he's going to have to go up against, toe to toe against Rafinha. He's going to have to go up against like Richarlison if he cuts, towards the outside. But most likely he'll be up to a tough task going up against Rafinha because of the skill that he possesses, and also he will have Paqueta in there too. So I think he have an advantage, going up against Paqueta to try to win the ball away from him. But they're going to have to muddy this game up in order to at least have a chance in this game. And a lot of their attacks is going to have to come from the counterattack because Brazil will possess majority of the possession. So they have to kind of break this game up and not let Brazil just, run wild and just do what they did against Korea. So I think he's going to be vital in the team's success today, as well as Brozovic and Modric, who's I think is just a world class player, one of the best players I've ever seen in the midfield for a while now. So I think Kovacic is going to be key. So I took his tackles over 2.5. Moving on to Mr. Casemiro. So Casemiro, he averages around 2.7 tackles per game. But I think his numbers is kind of skewed because against Switzerland, he only had 2 tackles. Oh, or 1 tackle, I believe. Yeah, 1 tackle against Switzerland. So it kind of dumbed his average down because against Serbia, he had an outrageous game where he had 3 tackles, 2 clearances, 1 block shot. And then against Korea, I think he had 4 tackles in that matchup, and he was just excellent. He was all over the place, and as you can see with his heat map, he's everywhere. Like he's all in um the opposition half, and he's mostly in the middle of the pitch, as you can see here, or down this right flank too, as well. So I really like his tackles today, and I think with him, they will have possession a lot. But also, like I stated earlier, that the only way for Croatia to really go on the attack is through the counterattack. So being able to, let's say they win a ball back in their own half and they're able to just go and take off and try to, beat the defenders back into their position and try to beat them on the counter. But Brazil, like I said, are so good at this double pivot where when they when they go back in the defense, they have Paqueta and Casemiro playing like kind of like a sweeper role where they kind of just clean up everything or try to stop the momentum of the attackers before they get to the back line, so it makes it easier on them to be able to mark the attackers and be able to win the ball back. So I think Casemiro is going to be huge, and when they do counterattack, to be able to win the ball back and be able to go the opposite direction and be able to have numbers forward. So I think I really like Casemiro's tackles as well, over 2.5. And then moving on to our next pick, we have Allison under a goal allowed. So the thing that worries me the most about Croatia, and I think it's a big drop off between them and all the other teams in the tournament, is that they don't have any real goal scoring threats. Like, yeah, you have Kramaric and you have Pekovic, but they don't really possess like somebody that's like a top striker, somebody that just they get 5 chances, they're going to convert majority of those chances. So that's their biggest weakness, is they don't have a top striker or a top center forward. So that's just a play on them not having a top striker or center forward. Not saying that they won't be able to score, but just based on how great Brazil has looked defensively, even though they allowed a cheap goal late in that Korea game, which shouldn't have happened. But yeah, he's been lights out, man. So I will ride with him to not give up a goal. As you can see here, he averages 0.3 goals conceded in the tournament, which is amazing. So I'm just gonna keep that play on Allison to not give up a goal, and just Brazil to just hold possession and be able to just attack 80% of the game, which, I feel like in the quarterfinal, Croatia is going to have some chances to score, but I don't think they convert on those chances that they're given by Brazil. So that's that. So that's Allison's pick. And then moving on to Lionel Messi, I don't even have to say more about him. He's Lionel Messi, one of the best players in the world. I believe in the knockout winner go home stage game, he's going to have his 4 shots easily because he's the heart and soul of this team. He averages 4.8 shots per game. He's going up against a Netherlands side that they haven't neither team, to be honest, neither team has really impressed me, Argentina nor Netherlands. But I feel like the Netherlands haven't really played anybody, and same could be said for Argentina as far in the tournament. So I really like Messi, and like you said, like you see here, he's in the middle of the pitch. He's that false nine, his favorite role that had basically invented with Pep Guardiola. So I think he should be able to get his 4 shots. Moving on to the next pick, it is Cody Gakpo over 1 shot. I think, to me, to be honest, this line is really disrespectful to him because up until this point, he's one of the best players in this tournament. Like in his last, I think, 6 appearances with Netherlands, he has 6 goals. And throughout the group stage matches, he's had like 3 goals in 3 games, I want to say. So he had a goal against Senegal, and then he had against Ecuador. He had a goal against Ecuador, and then he had a goal against Qatar. So yeah, so in his first 3 games in the group stages, he's had a goal in every game. I get it. They're trying to set the line based on his average. He averages 1.3 shots per game, and also he averages 0.8 shots on target. But I think that's just disrespectful. Like, to me, Argentina, their defense is good, but they're not that great because they had a left back or left winger for for who was it? Who did they play against last? Argentina against Australia. That's what it was. And they were just giving, the left back problems for Acuna. They was giving Acuna problems the whole matchup, against them. And so I think they're vulnerable, especially defensively. And as you can see, like with the Saudi Arabia game where they got, caught with their pants down and they lost that matchup. But I really think that, he should be able to at least push with 1 shot, let alone he should be able to get 2. But moving on to our last pick is Julian Alvarez over 2 shots. I really wish the line was at 1.5, but it's not. It's at 2. So I think he has push potential. And let's go to Julian Alvarez. So, and then another thing to note too that I've seen with Argentina is that their coach he has a short fuse, man. If he doesn't see things going the way he wants it to go, he will pull players quick and kind of freshen up the squad and have some young energetic legs or just some fresh legs come into the side. So Julian Alvarez, one of the best young players in Argentina when he was playing in Argentina for River Plate, and he's now a Man City player. So he averages 2 shots per game, as you can see here. Average 2 shots per game. He hasn't really got too much run in these tournaments. He's got come in a lot as like a sub. He doesn't run a full, like I said, he doesn't go a full 90 when he's in there. Like he's 20, was it 31 minutes the last one, 27 minutes, 79. So against Poland, he had more run. He had almost a full game run. Against Australia, he had 71 minutes. So he plays about around 70, 71 minutes when he does get to start. But also watch out for lineups and see if he's starting, because sometimes what they may do as well is start the more experienced Lautaro Martinez. Well, actually, no. Actually, looking here, Lautaro is actually injured. Rodrigo De Paul is actually injured. So this is a big injury for them. Rodrigo De Paul, like he's that guy in the midfield, solid player, can win the ball back and in midfield areas. So I really really like Julian Alvarez. He's going up against a older side in Netherlands, like you see like Blend and De Jong, Klaassen. Like those are older players, and I think he has the speed, but also too, once he gets to the back line, he has a really really tough job of trying to get past one of the best center backs I believe in the world, Virgil van Dijk. So I really like that for his shots, as well as I'll give you guys another pick that I was eyeing that is intriguing, but it also makes sense with the matchup. So I like Mr. Virgil van Dijk to get a tackle because, as I said, he's going up against the likes of Messi, Alvarez. I don't know if Di Maria is going to start. I think he's kind of touch and go. They don't know his status at the moment, but he's going up against some top tier attacking players. So I think he might have a chance where he has to go put in a tackle to be able to stop them from scoring. So yeah, so those are my picks, my plays, as well as I've seen another one on the board that is intriguing to at least have push potential is Mr. Gordoval. He's been balling. He's had a great, outstanding tournament so far. So I like his tackles. His clearances could be in play too, as well as because Brazil should be in the attacking half majority of the game. So I think that could be a shout too, but it's probably high. Yeah, it's pretty high. 6.5. Like that's ridiculous. Anything over like 5 is a stretch. Like all their defenders are 5.5 because this is telling you that they're going to be sitting back and defending majority of the game. And I think the same could be said for Netherlands. Like as you see, like Aki, his clearances is way high. He's not really a clearance person. He probably averages what 3, 4 a game at the most. Let's go to him. Mr. Nathan Aki. So Nathan Aki, where are you? Here you are. So Nathan Aki. So let's look at his numbers throughout this tournament. So Nathan Aki, he averages 3.8 clearances. So like I said, that's pretty high for him. 3.8, and his line is at 4.5. So I think that could be a good underplay. It's kind of scary too, though, with these quarterfinal matchups because a lot of these matchups can go into extra time or penalties. But if it goes in extra time, then a lot of times a lot of these players will get subbed off because they're on the pitch just too long and they want to kind of get them, like I said earlier, fresh legs on the pitch and kind of freshen up the game. So a lot of these could be sub risks too. But then also the more vital the players like the Casemiros and the Kovacic's of the world, they will most likely stay on. So that could be a boost to our tackles. So let's say like through full time they have 2 tackles and the game gets extended to extra time, and they might have to just get one tackle in extra time, and it's going to be more. You're going to be more defensive minded in extra time because you don't want to allow that goal to kind of give the other team that advantage where you have to push now to try to score a goal, as opposed to you being on the front foot and being able to try to score. So yeah, so those are my plays for today. Kovacic over 2.5 tackles, Casemiro over 2.5 tackles, Allison to not give up a goal, so under 0.5 goals allowed. Lionel Messi over 3.5 shots, Cody Gakpo over 1 shot, Julian Alvarez over 2 shots, and then also those two considerations that I've stated previously. So I appreciate you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let's cash, boys.